Mara Jennings stood barefoot in her bedroom, holding up a burgundy sweater dress against her frame. The color brought out the green in her eyes, but something about it felt off, like she was trying too hard. She wanted to look casual but not boring, sexy but not obvious. Her brown hair fell in loose curls over her shoulders, and she stared into the mirror, biting her lower lip. "Mom," she called out, still holding the dress against herself. "Can I get your opinion?" There was no answer. With a sigh, Mara stepped lightly down the old stairs, the wood creaking under each foot. The house was quiet, save for the ticking clock and the occasional gust of wind outside rattling the windows. She padded toward the garage where she knew her mother would be. That's where she always went when she needed to think. The door creaked open and revealed her mom sitting at the old workbench under a bare bulb, carefully cleaning the inside of a long-barreled rifle. Her fingers moved with practiced precision. "You really think that's necessary?" Mara asked, trying to sound casual, though the presence of the gun gave her pause every time. Her mom looked up, her expression unreadable. "You're meeting someone you've never seen face to face. You think I'm just gonna let you walk out there without some kind of backup plan?" Mara stepped inside and leaned against the wall. "It's not like I haven't been on a date before." Her mom snorted softly and went back to her task. "It's not the date I don't trust. It's the man. They're not all bad, you know. They're not all good either." Mara glanced at the framed photo pinned above the workbench, a younger version of her mom in a sheriff's uniform, standing beside a man with dead eyes and a forced grin. Her dad, a man she hadn't seen in 15 years. "Still," her mom said after a long pause, "that sweater dress looks good on you, shows you've got taste and backbone." Mara smiled and walked over to kiss her mother on the head. "I'll be careful." "I know. I just wish that were enough." 30 miles away, Kevin Rawlins was brushing his teeth in front of a cracked bathroom mirror. He wore a white button-down shirt with sleeves rolled up, just enough to show his lean forearms, and a dark gray vest that gave him the illusion of respectability. His sandy brown hair was neatly parted, and his smile, when it came, was practiced. He spit into the sink and wiped his mouth, eyeing the mirror. "This is it," he muttered. "One last one. Make it count." The basement door creaked open behind him, and he turned sharply. No one. Just the sound of the old house groaning on its foundations. He walked through the kitchen and down into the basement, past boxes of useless antiques and stained tarps. At the far end of the room was a trunk with a heavy latch. He opened it slowly. Inside were photos, women, smiling. Some of them had bruises poorly hidden with makeup. Others looked frozen in time, like they'd been caught off guard by the camera. Kevin ran his fingers over a snapshot of a blonde woman from last spring. Her name had been Alyssa. "Too trusting," he whispered. He shut the trunk and walked over to the shelf above his work table. There, he picked up a bottle filled with a thick, yellowish liquid. It had no label, just a strip of masking tape that read "Nightlight." A knock on the door upstairs startled him. He slipped the bottle into his coat pocket, fixed his face into a smile, and went upstairs. Mara opened the door to find Kevin standing with a bouquet of wildflowers and a sheepish grin. "Wow," he said. "You look amazing." Mara blushed. "You clean up nice too." Her mom hovered near the hallway, pretending to check her phone, but clearly eavesdropping. "Be back by 10, she said without looking up. "Got it," Mara said, stepping outside. Kevin offered his arm and she took it. "I figured we could grab coffee, then take a walk through the park." "Sounds good," Mara replied, matching his pace. They walked in silence for a bit, the evening air crisp and still. Kevin asked polite questions about her job, her hobbies, her music taste. And Mara answered easily, laughing a few times. It felt normal, until he said, I feel like we've known each other for years." Mara tilted her head. "Do you say that to all your dates?" Kevin chuckled. "Only the ones I want to keep around." Something about his voice sent a chill up her spine. 2 miles away, a drone buzzed overhead. Mara's mom adjusted the controls from her tablet, watching the grainy infrared image of her daughter and Kevin moving toward the north end of the park. She tapped the screen, marking the location. Back in the park, Mara sat down on a bench and pulled her jacket tighter. "So, Kevin, why me?" He blinked. "What do you mean? You've probably talked to dozens of women online. Why pick me?" Kevin's mouth opened, but no words came. Then he smiled. "You're different." "Different how?" He leaned closer. "Because you remind me of someone I lost." Mara held his gaze. "Who?" He reached into his coat and froze. There was the sound of a metallic click. Mara was holding a taser in her lap, her thumb on the trigger. "I know what you've done," she said quietly. Kevin's face changed, not surprised, just disappointed. "How long have you known?" "Since before we matched. You thought the old profile picture would fool me, but I've got a few friends who don't miss faces." Kevin didn't move. "Then why come at all?" "To make sure," she said, "to see what kind of predator you really are." "And what now?" he asked with a smirk. "Gonna tase me? Drag me to the cops?" "No," said a voice from behind them. Kevin turned. Mara's mother stood at the edge of the tree line, rifle slung across her back and a small satchel in her hand. "You're coming with us." Kevin awoke with a start. His head throbbed. He was in a cabin, wooden walls, small window, no furniture. He was cuffed to a pipe. There was a camera in the corner. A red light blinked. A speaker on the wall crackled. "Comfortable?" asked Mara's voice. Kevin didn't answer. "We did a deep dive, Kevin. Turns out you've been very busy. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Iowa. Always women. Always dumped near construction sites or empty fields. You're neat, but not neat enough." "Let me go," he said. "You want freedom?" her voice replied. "Earn it." A screen dropped from the ceiling, showing a map with GPS coordinates and timers counting down. "We've scattered your souvenirs across the woods, every photo, every trinket, every piece of your broken trophies. You want to live? Find them before the timer hits 0. Kevin growled. "This is insane." "No, Kevin, this is justice." The door opened with a metallic clang and his cuffs released. He stumbled into the night air. The forest was thick, dark, no trails, just scattered clues and the howls of dogs far in the distance. The hunt lasted 3 days. Kevin didn't sleep. He found 2 of the photos, but the others eluded him. He tripped wires, got caught in snare traps, fell into a ditch filled with icy water. His face was cut, his hands bruised. He screamed at the sky. On the 4th day, he saw a figure ahead. Mara. She stood by a tree, bow drawn. "No more games," he shouted, staggering forward. "Just end it." She let the arrow fly. It struck the tree beside his head. He collapsed to his knees. "Please." Mara approached him slowly, then pulled something from her bag. A photo of Alyssa, the last woman Kevin killed. Her parents had identified her from this very image. "We buried her, gave her a name again. You don't get to take that from anyone else." Mara pressed something into his hand, a flask. He looked at her in confusion. "You get to choose," she said. "What's in that will stop your heart in minutes. Quiet, painless. Or..." She looked up. Her mother stood behind him, rifle raised. Kevin looked at the flask and drank. 6 months later, the police found Kevin's body in the woods. No signs of struggle. A note in his hand confessed to every murder. His face made national news. But Mara and her mom? They were long gone, living quietly in a small town in Oregon, tending a wildlife rescue center. Sometimes at night, Mara walked the wooded trails alone, always watching, always remembering. Sometimes the hunted become the hunters, and sometimes the ones who disappear aren't always the victims.